Hey, what's going on, guys? So it is day 4 of this water fast, and let me just tell you, it's been uneventful. That's a fact. I feel like the first time that I did this water fast, it was a lot harder, right? Because I didn't know what to expect. I feel like because I did it almost a month ago, right? To get to the 8 days, it was new, right? I didn't prepare myself and I did a couple of things wrong. So let me actually just walk through that. I found out from additional extensive research. So I did extensive research before I started the water fast the first time. However, this time around, I actually referred to several different professionals and doctors that are in the field that study the effects of fasting. And the first time that I did it, one of the real exciting parts about a water fast that made me excited was the ability to reduce your visceral fat. So that's the fat that's actually around your arteries, kind of in your midsection, around your body, hidden in the pockets. Um, you can reduce that visceral fat by more than 50%, 50 to 60%, if you do this water fast for an extended period of time between 14 to 30 days and so on and so forth. So what I found out last night, though, was is that if you work out while you're on your water fast, which I did intensely for the first like 5 to 7 days or whatever it was, you will not burn visceral fat. You will burn the protein in your muscles. So because you're doing extra, your body starts doing extra on top of what it's already doing. So yes, the autophagy is amazing. Yes, all that stuff is great. But part of the exciting portion of this is for your body to break down the fats that are just extra energy hidden within your body, hidden next to your arteries, hidden next to all these places that you really don't need that extra energy. And if you continue to just consume food and not actually burn or shed that visceral fat, that unhealthy, dangerous fat with all the toxins and everything, if you don't get rid of that stuff, then it's living rent free in your body. And I'm not good with that. So this time around, I worked out on the day before I started the water fast. And then I did a really light workout on the very first day of the water fast. Here I am on day 4. I feel great. I'm not gonna lie to you. I feel so great that my family decided to go to Shake Shack tonight, and I had the ability and control to feed my son his Shake Shack burger and hold it in my hand for more than an hour as I fed this kid because he kept running around the room and doing whatever he had to do. So all the self-control in the world. Why? Because I've been drinking water anytime that I get a craving for food. I haven't been overexerting myself. Shout out to my son. He's going to the championship in basketball. First year playing basketball, but um, I've just been able to maintain, right? Not overly hungry. Yes, the smell of food. I can freaking taste it in my mouth when I smell it. But it's day 4. On to day 5. I expect it to be smooth as well. No headaches, no freaking out, no drama, no nothing. Really cool day 4. So if you guys are interested in watching the other videos that I've done, feel free to follow our YouTube channel, right? I'll drop the link below in the chat. Also, feel free to like, share, subscribe, do all that fancy stuff because we want to continue to build up the content, build up this page. And our YouTube page is called Consulting Corners, right? Because we are coming from consulting from different aspects, right? I'm going to do videos about financial literacy and actually lending, right? So that's both business purpose lending as well as hard money, private money, and overall lending as a whole, right? So how that can impact you. We're going to be doing coaching on real estate and different things that are going on in the market, exercise. So we're going to be coming from consulting from several different aspects of this entire arena of life, as well as parenting and a whole nine yards. So our page is going to be very holistic. So again, that's called Consulting Corners. Definitely check us out on YouTube. Feel free to tell people about us. Drop that like, drop that comment, drop that share. And I'm going to be recording these videos on my phone and then uploading them to YouTube because I don't really like the Mac quality of video, just being honest. So I'm definitely going to be doing that more often. And we're going to come in with these consistent content to kind of build the reputation, do the whole nine yards, and get you to like, know, and trust me, man, because we are the shit, just being honest. So with that being said, day 4 of the water fast, search up the hashtag fast with me, right? Fast with me. And we're going to be giving you tips and up-to-date tips about how each and every day of this specific water fast has affected me. Now, each and every person is different, but the reality is that you won't know how it impacts you either negatively or positively until you actually do it yourself, right? So just hear me out. Try it. Try it for a couple of days. Do the research. If you guys need me to drop some additional research or some additional information in these videos, I can quote and literally have the doctors talk to you and you can get all this amazing knowledge as well. But definitely feel free to tap in. All right, later.
Desirable materials. When you fast, though, the body rapidly mobilizes these materials. If you fast and exercise, though, once you've depleted your glycogen stores after, say, 24, 48 hours, the only way the body would get the needed glucose to maintain muscle activity or excess brain activity would be through gluconeogenesis. You'd have to break down proteins in order to get that. So what happens is if you fast and exercise, you actually lose more weight, but more of it's lean tissue.
That's interesting.
If you fast and rest, you mobilize predominantly fat and specifically and preferentially visceral fat. So in addition to making sure a person's a good candidate for fasting with a history, exam, and lab, we also need to make sure they rest during fasting. Now, there's modified fasting where you take a certain amount of calories, therefore you have more glucose available, you're able to minimize gluconeogenesis. That's a different process. Water-only fasting, though, needs to be done resting if you're going to maximize detox, preserve lean tissue, and maximize fat loss. And that we've been able to prove now. We've actually done this, and we've done, before, during, after fasting, 6-week follow-ups. So we've got the data. And so we can put a lot of the old wives' tales to rest. That paper will be published later this year, and I think that'll really make people aware of just why this rest, which is so counterintuitive to people trying to maximize weight loss, is important with fasting. And, if the goal is to really detoxify, the best way to do it is prep properly before fasting. Really important. People that try to, say, quit coffee at the same time they're going on a fast really undermine themselves because the caffeine withdrawal is actually quite difficult. Fasting isn't so difficult. If you prep well, all of a sudden fasting doesn't even look that hard. People go to cooking classes, they go down to the dining room, they interact with people, even on these long fasts, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks. And they do fine, but they are resting. And so resting in some ways is a little bit harder, but it's more effective. I say it's harder because you'll detox more. You'll feel worse. But we don't care how you feel. We care how well you get. So if you feel bad in fasting, doesn't bother me. As long as you get well, you'll totally forgive us. And so next time you fast, you want to make sure you rest during. Now, it doesn't mean you can't do some stretching, you can't do meditation. There's things you can do, but they're more passive. And then you look at how your recovery is post-fasting, and you'll find it's really quite fabulous because not only do you get rid of the inflammation and the joint pain and some of the chronic injuries, but then you recover quickly, and we're able to demonstrate that quantitatively now. As lean tissue recovers, fat continues to go down after fasting. So you're losing fat, you continue to lose fat, even though you're regaining, quote, weight, because glycogen, water, fiber, and muscle come back after fasting. Fat does not. What's interesting is you have 2 pounds of glycogen. So you're going to get that 2 pound back. You've got fiber that has to go back in the gut. Unless you're eating an all meat diet, then there is no fiber. And there's also hydration. There's a physiological dehydration with fasting. Now that's more when you're exercising. You dehydrate more, so it looks like you're losing more weight, but all you're doing is dehydrating.
Why are you dehydrating if you're drinking water?
doesn't matter if you're drinking water, if it's you hold it in the cells. There's a physiological adaptation to fasting where there's a natural dehydration state. It's probably part of the conservation mechanism. There's a lot of weird things that happen, very counterintuitive during fasting. Like, for example, we talked about exercise increasing brain-derived neurotrophic factor that preserves the brain and protects the nervous system. It also increases in fasting. You think about exercise, you're vigorously active. Fasting, you're laying on your around and not doing much. They both are changing these same things in the same way. It's really, really non-intuitive, but when we look at the science, if we look at the data, and then we look at the clinical outcomes, it's really apparent. And now we're tracking people 30, 35 years. I've got people now that are in their 80s that we started off in their 50s. And they all say the same thing, including my mother, who at 92 had outlived all 50 of her lifelong friends.
Jesus.
Every one of her friends was dead. She was alone. And she said, Alan, you need to warn your patients if they're going to do this diet. Make younger friends. So I'm telling people starting right now, make younger friends. So when you're older and you're still